Well, ladies and gentlemen, look who we have here. Tracy, it is a pleasure and honor to have you. How are you?
It is a pleasure and honor to be here. I'm very well, thank you.
How has the last few weeks been? I mean, it's been quite crazy, hasn't it?
Uh, it's gathering. Uh, well, when I say that, I think maybe because I play Jahira for anyone that maybe doesn't know, and Jahira doesn't come in until Act 2. So the launch and everything was amazing, but as you probably know, it takes a while to create your character and then get through Act 1 and get to Act 2 and possibly meet me. And so I think for me personally, it's been just watching the incredible response that everyone's had, and then just occasionally then people going, oh, I've met Jahira, oh, I've met Jahira. So there's been a little, and then now I feel like people are meeting her or going back and changing their story. But in terms overall of just the game, I keep looking at the camera, by the way, so sometimes I'm looking at the camera, which is just really weird.
Hey, I love that. That's professional.
I'm so good at interviews. It's been great. I'm just gonna go, it's been great.
Did you know what you were getting into? That's the question.
No. In preparation for this interview, Dan, I went back to my emails, which I still have, from September 2021, which was when I got a audition invitation for Project. I know it's out there now, Draken Files. I'm looking at the camera again. I want to look at you. Project Draken Files for a character called Yanya. And and there was a drawing, which has some resemblance, I would say, but a little bit more sackclothian and a bit different to how she is now. And yeah, there was some lines, and I looked at the lines, and they were to do with The Last Light In, and it's some of the first lines that have ended up in the game. And I did the audition, didn't know anything about it, and then never heard anything, which is what happens. And then about a month later, or maybe 6 weeks later, I got another email going, you remember that audition? You always think that's a good sign. Remember that audition? They say, why don't you do it again? That's fine. And do you want this lengthy? It was a short question. This is a very long answer. Do you want this long answer? I love the long
answers. Please give us every detail you can remember.
Don't let me ramble, please. Okay, so but this is what I did.
We love ramblers around here.
Oh, no, edit. It's like, calm down. So I did a second audition, and they attached a clip of Wonder Woman, and it was a clip of the brilliant Robin Wright being her role. And it was not saying do it like Robin Wright, but it was saying, could you go a little bit more in this more, I guess, authoritative, more military kind of way? I think roughly, I'm paraphrasing. So I thought, okay, it was the same lines. Oh, and the other thing, which is kind of funny, is that they sent a picture of a body with, I should have got it, but it's like when they ask you to self-tape, it's full body, but they said, just go below your knee, but we need to see your whole body, which for actors is always difficult because we don't live in mansions, and trying to get full shots is always hard. And I thought, well, that body looks kind of not naked, but it was very form-fitting. And I thought, oh, well, didn't ask my agent, I'm going to get out my Lycra. So I got on my Lycra leggings, which are fine, and I had a little crop top on. I had a little crop top. I mean, it wasn't like revealing, but it was, you see my tummy and everything. And I was, oh, this is right. All with this Lycra outfit on. And that was the first audition. Then I got the second one. The second one, I thought, I'm going to wear a grey coat now, like a long military coat. You're at home.
I think I saw a photo of that.
Yeah, that's it. I thought, I'm going to get that coat out. So I put that on. And then in the other ones, I had my Lycra on again. I mixed it up this time because you do each line separately. And sent that off, never heard anything. And then another month, I think it was December, it said, and I don't have that email. They said, we really like that, but could you do it a bit more like this? And it was another video clip, another actor, famous actor, can't remember who, and I haven't got that email. So I went, oh, all right. Did it again, slightly different, same lines. I think I'd done with the Lycra. I think I've got the coat out again, so I thought, well, they like the coat. And so then never heard anything. And then we're in January, January 2022. And I'm at my agent going, Carl, what, have I got that job? Because you've done 3 auditions.
Yeah.
So then they said, it's between 3 of you. And I was like, wow, this is obviously something, because they're taking a long time. And and then I think it was around about the middle of January, they said, you got the job. And I think even then I wasn't sure what I was doing. And I did one session, and it was some of the early, I think, those early introduction lines. And then I think I did 4 hours. And then I don't think I did another one for about a month in February. And it was kind of like one a month. And I said to my agent, how much am I going to be doing? I think it's going to be big. They went, well, it'd be maybe 7 hours. And I was like, 7 hours? Oh, this was going to be, so, I was delighted. That's great. But also, a little bit of me going, oh gosh, I thought it was going to be a bit more. But anyway, I did that and it was great and I enjoyed it. And then kept going like one a month. It's nearly the end of all my answers aren't going to be this long. And it got to about the middle of the year and someone said to me in a session, good news. I think they said this, your character has been developed into the game. I said, great.
Interesting.
That means a lot more sessions. And I was like,
wow. Were you nervous that first session? And had you done mocap before?
I think Sam said that they hadn't done mocap, exactly the same for me. So I think I was in the larger volume, and I'm sure people have spoken about this. There's markings on the floor and we all have what they call a base pose that we stand in. And so there was quite a bit of fixing of how Jahira would stand, or that would be the position you would find her in, which was kind of ready and, not too relaxed, but also not too tense. And it did take a lot of adjustment in your brain as an actor to be doing a few lines and then realizing you had to come back or end the line and then come back to the base pose, usually through the line. So that took a while. So sometimes I'd think I'd been brilliant, but it technically wasn't. It probably wasn't brilliant, but it technically wasn't right. So I would have to do it again. But it was so, it's good for your brain to be tested. And we had such fantastic, directors and movement directors. It's such a great support ensemble effort to create our characters. This is just at Pit Stop, and then obviously, as you know, it goes on to Larian and cinematics and all of that.
You had 25 years of experience, and you said this tested you. Is this the biggest test you've had in recent memory?
Oh, that's a really good question. You didn't send me that one in advance when I asked to see what you were going to ask me. It did in the beginning. Technically, yeah. Because you just want to do the best you can. And when I began to understand how much history Jahira had, you just want to deliver the best possible work, and you don't want to bugger it up by not going back into your base pose. Was it the most testing thing? Yeah, it's up there in my top 5, maybe. Yeah.
So how long did it take you to sort of get into the character and find her, would you say? Did you get it straight away, or did it take a couple of months until you started hitting your stride?
Hopefully I got it quite early, but I think, as some other people have said, we sometimes would come back and you would go, gosh, I think I've done those lines before. And we would all go, yeah, but maybe it's slightly different. But then you would also think, oh, maybe I was just really terrible when I did them in that last session. And there, as you do as a typical actor, God, it wasn't good enough. But I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but with any character, I wonder if everybody trying to find the character. And because I felt at the beginning, again, my memory is so terrible, I'm going to say that now, is that I felt at the beginning it was quite the military aspect. I seem to remember recording a lot of big speeches to lots of people, kind of big, beautiful. Rory Moore is my writer, and he's a wonderful writer, Rory Moore. And I always thought the writing was great. But as we got more into it, I would say more humor came into it. I think, don't know whether it was them going, we need to, because I think she always has been funny from the previous incarnation in 1 and 2. And I have to mention Heidi Shannon, because who played the original Jahira. Yeah. I didn't know anything about, when I first got the job, I didn't look into it that much. You've got a job, you just get on with it. And then only later on, I think I started a few sessions in, I thought, oh, there's got to be some audio somewhere. And so I did listen, and very funny, as well as being brilliantly dramatic and powerful. There was a lot of humor in there. And so I just found as we went along, more and more humor came in. And I love that, because, if you can lighten a heavy or overly kind of emotional moment with a bit of pathos, and I just think that's wonderful, you know.
I feel like she loves the banter too. You know, if you give it to her, she'll, you know, you bastard, and she'll say stuff like that. Was that always there, or was that something again that was developed along the way?
I feel that was developed.
Yeah.
But memory could be wrong. I feel there was more of it as we went along, especially I think I did most of my recording in this last year. I had a lot more sessions this year, but I think we all did when we were galloping toward the end of recording. You know, instead of doing like 1 a month, I would do 12 or 13 a month. And so therefore suddenly there was just reams of new, like the family stuff wasn't done till about a year in, I seem to remember. And a lot of stuff in the Druid Sanctuary, which is some of my favorite.
Oh yeah, great stuff.
It's beautiful, so beautifully written and very moving, and a lot of it refers back to the first two and her husband and all of those things. I don't want to do too many spoilers, but that was very much toward the end, and I was so grateful for that, because I think the more you've lived with a character, those really big emotive going back, if you've done quite a lot of and lived with the person for a while, then I think it's a little easier to access than throwing you straight in, although, you know, lots of actors can go straight in with the big emotions. Like I have to find it. Yeah.
Is she still within you now?
I was thinking that when I was coming for this, I was thinking, how would Jahira go for this interview? Completely opposite to me. I think we're very similar. We're very organized, and I think she'd be quite controlling in terms of, you know, how everything is organized and just down to the nth degree. But she would. I've lit myself, Dan. I've got lights here. Nice. I've got notes stand here that I'm going to pretend that I'm just thinking idly about a line, but they're all written over there and I can see them. Whereas Jahira would literally come in, having, you know, fought a battle and gone, you know, all right, I've got an interview now, and sit down. Do you know what I mean? There'd be no lighting, there'd be no nothing. So I think in that respect, I'm much more self-conscious.
Have you played a character like this before?
Have I played a half-elf druid warrior? You want to talk to me about scimitar acting? That was fun. No. I played strong women.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant a strong military style.
No. No, and that's the joy. I mean, look how amazingly she's been, the cinematics. I think it's wonderful how she looks, and also how everybody's dressing her. There's some brilliant. I saw her with a clown face the other day. I wasn't quite sure how that comes into it, but I've seen a few people with a clown. But they've realized her so wonderfully well from that opening and some of the later scenes, you know, the more moving past, talking about her past, and then the battle scenes and all of that. I think the people at Larian who've done the cinematics, it's incredible, you know. And I love that it's our movement that's in there, you know. I love that the bastard line is, you know, that laugh and everything, and that's the moving, and that's me, and that's so nice to see that, you know. But we're nothing without the directors and everybody else at Pit Stop, and people that would put us in the suit and stick the bobbly things on us, and Ben and Rogan and everybody. There's just so many people, you know.
So you originally So you originally trained in Scotland, right? When did you do your training in Scotland and won all those awards because you're so fabulous? When was that?
I didn't win all those awards. Oh no, have you been?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. When was this?
Oh, a long time ago, before you were born, Dan, probably back in the 90s. Right. We're going over the old stuff here.
You always wanted to be an actor?
I did. I grew up on an island, and a little bit about my past. I grew up on an island, and my mum was really into, it's a very small island called Isla, and I wasn't born in Scotland, but I was brought up there. But my mum was really into old movies, so we would always sit at the weekend and watch Bette Davis and Joan Crawford and Barbara Stanwyck, and Spencer Tracy, and a lot of American stuff, and that stayed with me. That all those kind of, and they were a lot of very strong female characters, and I just thought, God, that would be great. And I remember being at school, and we didn't really have, there was a lot of teacher strikes on. We didn't do any plays, and but one time we read Pygmalion in class. I think I would have been about 14, and for some reason I got told to read Eliza Doolittle, and it was all written phonetically, and I read it, and some reason it came out okay, and everybody kind of laughed. And it's that thing where, you know, you hear people, actors saying, oh, everybody laughed, and I thought, oh, that's good. But I remember going to, you know, you have, I don't know if you had this down at school, but you know, when you go to careers, did you ever have a careers advisor?
I did, yeah, but they weren't very good. I don't know if yours was yours good?
Well, they were sensible, you know. I don't know. I said, you know, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be, quite like being an actor. And they were like, that's good. You could go to catering college, which, you know, I keep mock that, but it's entirely practical and much more likely for me to get a job in the catering industry. And that's what they said. But luckily, I got into a 1-year course when I was 17 and did that, and then ended up going to Royal Scottish or Conservatoire. I feel like I'm just talking an awful lot down here.
Yeah, because you're the guest, Tracy. That's
I know,
why.
I know, but I think that's what I'm always slightly just that thing of just talking about yourself. It just, I keep wanting to go, Dan, you tell me about when you,
because you're selfless.
It's not an equal.
No, I love it. So how did you get into the video game landscape? Because, you know, I know your first game was what, Chicken Run back in the 2000. I don't know if you remember that. It's very sporadic, and now all of a sudden, the last few years, you're booking a lot of stuff. Now, what's the difference? What's changed?
It's the mystery of this profession, isn't it? Yeah, I did Chicken Run. Yeah, as you say, there was a big gap. And then I auditioned for, I've heard some of the other actors in BG3 say this, Divinity Original Sin, I think. And then got that. And then once I got that and did some of that and did quite a lot of characters, don't ask me their names, I don't remember. Because
I was going to ask you to name every character and do the voice.
No, memory woman doesn't remember this thing. But also, we get them under project titles. You know, we don't at the time know that's what the is. And then by the time it comes out to 5 years later, sometimes you've done a couple more and you think, oh, what was it I did? And I didn't take a note of the characters because do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, but anyway, I worked with Josh and we didn't. And then he kept getting me back for a few other ones at Pit Stop. And I guess that's how I got the audition for Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, I haven't asked actually, but yeah.
So no one worded you up how big this game was going to be? Like, you didn't get any word up? Not even Neil or anyone said, look, Tracy, you know what you're getting into here? You know what?
No.
Really?
I didn't know Neil or anyone. I mean, I met them at Pit Stop, you know, and even then I saw the poster up. I didn't know any of the characters' names. This was 6 months in. I mean, there's so many people in it, and I saw, oh, they must be the main cast, you know, the poster that was on the wall. And then Neil came in. Even at that point, I still didn't know. A trailer came out at Christmas, and it had my voice quite prominent on it because they were kind of announcing that Jahira and Minsc, and even I didn't even know that was a big deal. I was like, oh, that's nice. I did. I was so naive. And then I remember Starion was in that trailer, and I remember going, oh, that's a great character. Oh, who's that? I was like, do you know? And then I met them all one by one, and I put things together in my head, you know.
You would have learned a lot over the last few weeks with the clips that have come out, and some of the people will come up with stuff, their own sort of stories a little bit. I mean, how's your knowledge developed, would you say?
Are you gonna test me?
No, I'm not. Don't worry.
It was, I would say, 3 or 4 out of 10. And I mean, I kind of know a lot of my own stuff, but I didn't quite understand how it fitted in and all of that. But there's so many brilliant people on YouTube who've done either individual quest lines or the High Harper quest or this. So now I did make notes for this today to try and piece together how I fit in. But then there's so many different pathways, isn't there? I'm doing a lot of this.
I know. I was going to say the permutations. How did you find that as an actor? You wouldn't have done anything like that before.
Oh. I mean, I've filmed out of sequence before, and I've recorded radio out of sequence, but no, this in terms of doing multiple lines with different responses. But again, we had such great directors who would Kirsty Gilmore, and I even had Jen directing me at one point and reading in the shadow heartlines while she was directing.
Cool.
amazing. But the directors just, because I'd be like, oh, you're reading all that info off the screen, but they wouldn't. Often they would just be doing a big monologue about what this particular line and where it fitted in, to help me understand where at that point we were and what the stakes were. I think that was always the thing. And how the other actor, which I think is extraordinary when I watch it now, how I would fit in with Nine Fingers, how, I think that is that Bryony Corrigan, absolutely amazing, again, performance. How I would fit in with my daughter, I keep getting the name wrong, Ryan. Again, I don't know who that actor is. I've been trying to find out, but amazing. And you go, the levels of your communication to the levels of what they deliver. How do they know that? Or how do they remember that? And occasionally I'd get stuff played in. I had quite a bit of Minsc played into me, so I could react.
Really?
Yeah, that's cool. But even if you didn't, the directors would read in for you so that you could respond appropriately. And it was all about the stakes and where you were and how it was affecting you, and physically as well. How physically it was affecting you, especially if you had props like a scroll or your scimitars or.
Oh, so you did get props.
Yeah, the whole, the whole bit. I don't know if you've seen the bit. Where I go, have a drink. The poison. Not poison.
Yeah.
That whole, that goblet. We constantly with the goblet redoing it with the goblet, and the goblet, hold the goblet like this, or no, a bit more like, and then there.
Well, I saw you on Twitter with the light bulb. I saw you had a bit of fun with that video.
Yeah, I am a prop actor. At drama school, I used to get the P taken out of me for always wanting a prop in every monologue or whatever. Can I have some props? So when the person put up, I should know their name on the airplane, but that lovely Songbird, is it, who put up the memes for us, and they put the light in. I thought, well, I can't not do the light. It's integral, isn't it? Integral. Yeah.
Oh man, isn't it a whirlwind? Now I've got a bunch of fan questions here that we're going to get to. All right.
How did you get? And where did you get those from?
Oh, I've reached out, and we've got a bunch that have come through just in the last hour. Look, some of them aren't questions. They're more of just like, I love Jahira. Her voice is perfect. That's from Rocketer.
That's really nice. Thank you.
Now, here's a real question. What method did you use to get in the proper headspace to play this character? That's from Fire Squid.
Fire Squid. Wow, Fire Squid, that's a good question. I don't really have a method.
Really?
We would get, no, I don't. I know my backstory as much as I can retain in my head. There's a lot, but I know as much as I can. But for me, it was get the lines a couple of days before, go through them, figure out the ones where the words I don't understand or spells and things that I can't pronounce, and ask about those. Or then I go in, I find out who my director is, who my movement is, have a chat with everybody, have a bit of a get all that done, warm up. Then for me, I am entirely reliant. I'm a puppet. I am entirely reliant in the moment on whoever is brilliantly directing me, whoever is brilliantly either on the Zoom or on the thing, watching how I move my body. And we work together to, in the moment, figure out what those, well, we obviously have an idea, or I've got an idea. They're not thrown at me. Although sometimes there would be things I'd be like, that wasn't in the script, but we work in the moment. So everything is incredibly immediate. That's it. Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
You do. You like it when it's a bit more improvisational?
Yeah, which completely goes against me what I said earlier about I'm a bit of a control freak.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
I'm a control freak. But when I'm doing the character, when I'm doing the character, I quite like to trust, because I did, completely trust them. After the first session, I was like, oh, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know the whole thing, what's going on. And also your writer would be somewhere in the ether. So if there was anything about a line, or, if we were all struggling with a line, it would be, hang on. And often he would be there somewhere and he would give us, so we were always kind of
handy
support. It's very handy, isn't it?
Snowflash.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, 100%. Thought I was going to find Jahira boring, but she's become my favorite character.
I already retweeted that. Yeah, I'm not a big one for retweeting praise, but had 4 very nice images of Jahira and I think nice lines there as well. So I did retweet that one and I was very grateful. So I think I thanked them, hopefully. That's, yeah. Well, yeah, also, I want people to know that Jahira is not boring so that they stop getting her killed early on and then they don't get to meet Minsc or anything. So, yeah.
He's good, Matt
Thank you.
Mercer. Matt Mercer, he knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Amazing. Absolutely, yeah. And it was great to be able to hear what he did with Minsc in the room. I was very lucky. I must have recorded a lot of it before I did it. And yeah.
I wonder if you got phoned in for him, because you were hearing him. I wonder if he got a few of your lines, because there's such good chemistry there between you two.
Ah, thank you. I hope so. It would be nice to think that, wouldn't it be? I don't think he needs me though, but yeah. I tell you what, I want to say again about the cinematics. I don't know if you've watched. I think I sent you the opening scene early on when we had a chat about stuff,
Yeah.
which I think is beautiful. When he's out of I'll get lots of things wrong here. The mimic, and then it's wonderfully done where I'm up high, and then he sees me, and we have the bit of banter, but there's this beautiful bit where we don't speak, and he has this. So this is the cinematics. It's not us, unless Matt did it in the booth and they've taken it from there. But he just looks up at me and he kind of looks quizzical, and then he kind of has this kind of. It's just so sweet and endearing, and then he gets quite annoyed with me. There's so many emotions going through that with no words, and then there's a reaction of me waiting to see with no words, and it's fab. I just think it's really great.
I think that might have been him. They might have picked that up. Who knows?
That would be so nice. Yeah, we don't, it's not taking our faces, but I wonder if occasionally, because they filmed us, they do maybe use our expression. I don't know. Are you going to try and interview these guys at some of the cinematic people and all that?
I need to. Yeah, I'd love to hear some of their stories.
Yeah.
They're brilliant. Pit Stop and everyone involved. Seed says, thanks for doing this. Here's the question. Was there any moment you felt the pressure to represent an iconic character such as Jahira in the Baldur's Gate franchise? So I guess because it's an iconic character, coming back, doing your rendition, I guess, how was that for you?
Yeah, I felt it in the last few weeks, and I felt it on the day of release, and maybe the first week, especially when I said to you, because obviously people hadn't got to me, and I was thinking, oh my God, what are they gonna, you think, what are they gonna think of? And also there was a little bit of, quite a long bit actually, of me in the panel from hell. And I was incredibly nervous.
Yeah.
And I think, I do look to see what people say, but I think at the panel from hell, I didn't for a while, because I was thinking, because I know how much the original voice actors, a lot of people absolutely, rightly so, revered and loved them. And so I think it was very hard for people at the beginning that they weren't doing it now. So yeah, I'm a bit more okay with it now, because I've seen a lot of really nice feedback. I have seen so I'm going to read you. We talked about this as well, but my favorite.
It just said with the accent. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah, it's Russian, but it's not.
Yeah, it says, Jahira, where in God's name are you from? And then someone else says, it's such a strange Russian but not accent. And I just thought, okay. But it's not mean. It isn't mean. And what you don't want attitude to yourself is just meh. I don't mind if people are great and other people are like, I don't like her. That's cool. That's absolutely fine. Everybody's going to get a bit of that, I think.
Yeah, the accent. I'm curious, what would you call the accent? And was that, well, you'd say what, East European, luscious, something like that?
All of them.
Yeah.
I looked at the audition email for us, and it just said Eastern European accent.
It did, yeah.
So I think for the most part, that's what I'm doing. I mean, I have heard bits where I've gone, but I think just one bit where I've gone, what was I doing there? Got a bit emotional, but
that's brilliant. Did you get emotional during this shoot at all? Because you said you kind of struggled to, not struggle, but you said it takes a bit of warming up to get there. How emotional are we talking?
From memory and from watching a few bits, I mean, I think the the stuff where I talk about my husband, the stuff that we did near the end, that was actually, easy is the wrong word, but that was fine because the writing was so good. I can't emphasize enough how good the writing by Rory is. And so that was fine. I kind of just went along. I was lucky, like a number of characters have quite a lot of monologue type things where you could just go and you didn't need to worry about bass pose so much. And so that I think that was pretty much one take, I think. So that was fine. And oh, there's a bit with Minsc as well where I talked to him about having when I left him behind, and that came quite easily as well.
That was a great scene. Yeah, I just watched that before.
When he's talking about me being a Wick Claren and everything. Again, I don't want to spoil too much stuff, but that was another bit I remember in that, because I think if you feel connected to, if the people that you're talking about are, you're either there in your mind physically or they are a memory that physically that you have, which I had, especially of my husband, that you, especially all that time. There's a great interview with Adam Smith, who was, I get the titles wrong, the lead writer, I believe, on is that his title? There's a great interview with him, and he talks at length about Jahira and bringing her back, and the history and the, you know, the emotion of it, and all of that grief, the huge amount of grief, and that all that time, 100 years of grief.
I also like the scene where you meet your we see your adopted kids. Have you seen that one?
Yes, and it's fun, isn't it? I think, and yeah, again, I'm in awe of how they put all that together. You know, yes, and I'll be honest. I think I was quite a bit into it when I was told about kids, and I was like, "I've got kids. I've got kids. Have I? How many?"
Yeah, we gonna word me up before, guys. Yeah. Okay. Favorite voice line, and can you say it in the character's voice, please, Tracy? You're amazing. Third dimension man.
That's not one of my friends. Okay. Yeah, there is a line. There's a few lines actually, but whenever, like, say, right, I can't remember what the line before to prompt the line, but imagine, have you seen that dress? I keep calling it the Wayfair dress, but it's called something else. That's very split. It's like chainmail. It's very low cut, very high slit. Really
everyone
practical.
loves that dress, I think.
Everybody wears that dress. And it's a few of me. I feel like somebody has said to me when I've had a really bad day, and I'll do this really badly, but they've said, "Hey, Jahira, would you like to wear this really impractical, high slit, low cut chainmail dress to go into battle with whoever?" And I say to them, "I would rather go into battle bare of ass." That's one of my favorite lines. And I didn't deliver it nearly as well as
fantastic. That is fantastic.
That one, and then I am looking at my notes. I want to get this line correct, but
yeah.
Okay. So if I get it wrong, Rory, I'm sorry. But she's got a very long speech, and she says, "Perhaps it is not heroes we need, only people who are willing to try." That's one of my favorite lines.
Oh, that's a great line.
Yeah, and I put in the big dramatic pause as well, because that's, I don't know why I did that on the day, but.
JVH, any advice for an aspiring voice actor? I've been told to get into it by many people and would love to do fantasy work. Any tips? How did you get started in the industry?
Yeah, sure. You know, I would always say whatever medium you want to work in, then be a part of it as a player, be it something that you actually get involved in. But that's the complete opposite for me, because I have yet to play a video game, apart from very, like, briefly maybe with other people there. But I would say that if you want to work in, like, radio drama or whatever, you know, listen to a lot of it so that you can actually contact the people. So if you want to work in games, find out who directed it or how many other directors, and write to them and say, you know, I played this game and I just thought the acting was whatever, but mean it. Don't, you know, actually do go out and play some of it and experience it, and then contact the people. And then ideally you're going to have some, I did read one director who does games saying, I'll get into trouble here, you don't need a games reel. If you've got a really good acting reel, then, you know, because, you know, myself and Sam hadn't done motion capture, I believe, before. I had done games before and Sam had done games before, but it doesn't mean that you have to have done loads of it. If you're a good actor, they can teach you the technical stuff. So I would say play it and then contact the people and have something to show them, even if it's a filmed monologue or in the genre of, do you know what I mean? At home, you get some lights and just contact them and then show them something that you can offer, I think.
Average Druid Liker, you've retweeted this one too. Can you guys stop letting Jahira die in your playthrough? She has a very important quest. She's very cute and funny.
Thank you so much.
I like that one.
Yeah, no.
Very cute and funny.
I like that. Yeah. The reason I keep tweeting these is to try and encourage people to, that, you know, I understand, you know, that fight at Moonrise Towers, I've watched a couple of playthroughs. It's really, really hard.
Tough.
And that's not really tough. So I understand people going, I've spent 30 minutes on this fight or more. I'm not going back to reload. I'll probably get the terms wrong. No. But obviously I'm going to go, it's worth it. You know, obviously I'm going to say that though, haven't I? Because
it's
also
worth
because
it. It is worth it. 100%. Save scum. Guys. Do it.
Yeah. Save scum. What does that mean? Save scum. Just reloading and save it.
Basically just going back if you make a mistake. Yeah. So you can like if you get an outcome you don't like in the story, you go back and then you can try and get a better outcome.
Save scum. Why save scum?
Yeah. It's an interesting term, isn't it?
I'm learning so much.
Moog, when Jahira called my lass a cub for the first time, I just melted out of my seat. I would die for her. Wow. Thank
you, Moog. I mean, that's really kind, isn't it? And very nice and appreciated. Thank you.
Shepherda, can you read me bedtime stories in the accent every night forever? Okay, that's a little bit weird, but...
We're going down a different avenue now, I think. Yeah.
Do you have Cameo?
Oh, shouldn't I? Yeah, you know, you just think, don't you? I'm a typical, I don't know whether it's a British thing or I'm just me. I have tried. I've got this, I should have worn it today. I've got this feather collar, which is very like, I've had it for years. I've never had occasion to wear it. And it's kind of, and it's very Jahira. And I did try and film myself the other day, and I couldn't bring myself to post any of them on a Cameo. I just was like, oh no, gosh.
You look beautiful. All right.
It wasn't that. Thank you so much. It wasn't that. It was just the whole, do I do it as Jahira? Do I turn into it like, why have you come here? I know why you have come here. You know, I couldn't think, I need a writer to write me a Cameo intro. But then I look at other people and I'm like, hello, I play Jahira. I've actually got a Scottish accent. Do you want me to do for your auntie or your uncle? You know, I just don't know, but probably I will.
How Scottish can you go?
Oh my God. Let me hear your Scottish.
How Scottish can you go, Tracy? That's terrible. But I reckon you can go really strong.
Of course I can, yes. Oh, you're inviting me to do that?
Yeah, I'm inviting it.
Well, I mean, the thing about Scottish is it's not actually that dissimilar to some of the sounds in the Slavic accent, especially if I was to say, like, if I was to say in Scottish, murder, which is a thing we all say, like a Taggart is a Scottish series. So we would say, there's been a murder. And if you were to say it in a Jahira, you see, it's honestly true. There has been a murder. It's the erotic R's are the same as the Scottish rotic R's, which sounds like arse, I know, but
it does. No,
Scottish and the R's, they're not a million miles apart. And I did my Scottish for you there. So
thank you. That was brilliant. If you want to hear Australian, I can do that. That's terrible.
No. So can I try and do Australian?
Oh.
So when you hear Australian, is this like your reaction is the same as my reaction to you doing Scottish? Is that really like a parody? Is it really terrible?
How have you gotten that so good? That's one of the best I've heard on this show. Dead set. I've given the task to a few actors over the years. That's got to be up there.
Really? Oh my God!
Yeah, it's not easy.
I'm not doing any more because if I do any more,
no, you don't want to ruin it now. But
I thought you were gonna absolutely take the pee out of me there.
No, that's something you got to practice, right? You didn't just pull that out of a hat.
I literally didn't plan that. It's not on my.
Wow. Okay. I'm impressed. I really am impressed.
I think are you really though?
I am. Yeah, I'm genuinely impressed. It's more of a posh Australian, I would say.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yes.
No question here from Gabe, but I just wanted to thank you for the great job that you did. Love your work, from Gabe.
That's really kind. Thank you very much.
All right, spoilers, everybody. Just quick, you can skip the next minute. Do you play Baldur's Gate through? If so, did you have the guts to kill Jahira and massacre the last light in? Now, we know you didn't play, and there's no way you would have done that. Come on. You're not crazy.
I would reload. What was the word?
Save scum.
Scab.
Yeah.
Save scum.
Rescab. Yeah.
Scab. I would save scum again and again and again. But the thing is, isn't it like 100 and how many hundreds of hours?
170.
To complete the game?
Oh no, there's 170 cutscenes, 170 hours of cutscenes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but if to complete the game, how many hours is it?
Yeah, it'd probably be around 100. I reckon. I don't know how much.
So if you're doing 8 hours a day, like a day full-time job, that would still be like 12 and a bit days, wouldn't it? Solid.
It depends on the players, but yeah, it's not easy. It's not a short game. Let's just put it that way.
Isn't that great? Isn't that value for money?
Oh God, you couldn't get better value than this. Fuck. Excuse my language. You could not get better value. Is there a blooper reel, Tracy? Do you have any behind the scenes footage that you took?
I don't, but we did laugh an awful lot. So somebody might have, but maybe we're not allowed to share that. Because I mean, it's still got to have a second release, hasn't it? No.
True. Not long now. Thank you for your amazing performance. Mocapping wise, you're quite energetic with your movement. I love that element that adds to Jahira's character, which I never considered when I interacted with her in the old games. Was it your idea or was it the director's idea to go with this approach from Pro AZ?
Pro AZ. Hello, Pro AZ. It very much would have been like all of us, which I think I'm probably repeated a lot now, but there is a movement director there. I know that at one point, and I can see it in the game, because I know Shadowheart's done head wiggle chat, but I know at some point I had a little, and it's my tick, where I was doing a lot of, you'll all look for it now maybe, but this. So I would say something and I would do a kind of, you know, Sarevok, you're scum. And I would do this thing, but that got pointed out to me. So hopefully, but I think occasionally it would still have this kind of thing. But most of any physical stuff, you know, we were given free reign to do whatever, and then but there would be a movement person, so you'd be allowed to organically find the movement yourself. But because I can't see my avatar, I can't quite see if that movement looks too extended, or I'm specifically pointing at a person where they in the game don't quite know where that person will be. So sometimes we would have to be a bit more generic, or sometimes I wouldn't be seeing the space enough, you know, wherever it was, like Faerun or wherever. I would need to take that all in and all of that. But yeah, the battle stuff, it was very much that ready for action feeling in the body, you know, had to be there, which I think everybody's spoken about a lot now, about it's not just face and voice. It's not face, sorry, it's not just voice. It is very much had to come through. And I think from the clips that I've watched of not just me, but of as many people as I can watch, it's really evident, you know, that it's worked really well, you know.
What do you want people to take away from the character?
Well, I hope I've lived up for the people that knew Jahira from before. I hope we all have, because obviously this is very different. This is, you know, many years on. I hope they like her, of course, but I hope that they find her to be really kind of multi-layered and, you know, not and just intriguing, I suppose. And funny. I want it to be funny, but also sad at times, and you know, there's just an
very
age.
multi-layered. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All the emotions. All the emotions. Yeah.
And did I see that you're in the Love at First Sight Netflix film?
Yes.
That looks like a bit of fun.
Yeah, if I make the cut, we filmed that such a long time ago. It's coming up on 3 years now. Right, you know, way before we all had the old whatevers. It was, yeah, long time. I think it was end of 2020. Oh yeah, and I think I did about 4 days on that, and a lot of that was being a guest at a wedding, and I've got a couple of scenes, I think. So if I make the cut, we'll see. Just do my own.
Are you a perfectionist a little bit?
I am very controlling. I mean, you must know that from the amount of messages I did.
Not controlling, but perfection. You know, like,
aren't they sort of kind of similar? Are they?
I feel like your house is immaculately
Very
clean.
tidy.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I love that. I love a house that's tidy. There's nothing better.
Your little environment there that I'm looking at, I can't. There's no clutter.
Oh, you can't see behind the camera, but it's not too bad actually. It's not too bad.
No, it's very good. I do love the idea of in these sessions that if you go beyond the perimeter of the frame, it's just absolute carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine, unfortunately, is incredibly neat.
Oh, that's good.
And I know there's been a lot of chat about ADHD, but I have not been diagnosed, but I can't focus on one thing for very long. You know, I want to try and get, I suppose you call it multitasking if you're looking at it in a positive way, you know.
Yeah.
I'll be in the middle of exercising and then I'll think, oh, I should do that thing. So I'll quickly jump off and do that and then come back to the exercising. So an hour of exercise can take me 2.5 hours because I'll jump about doing other things. Well, I come back to it. Why not just do the exercise? That's why gyms are good and working out at home.
Hold on, that might be procrastination, Tracy.
No, procrastination to me is just stopping, you know, and just having a little drink of tea and looking out the window. I'll be, you know, emailing.
Oh, you'll be actually getting in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing tasks. I do get a massive, oh my God, this is like therapy now. I do get a huge sense of it. Like if I get things, I've got lots of lists. I like lists.
Oh, but Dan, you love lists.
When we were talking, I was sending you, these are the images that you could use for Jahira. What questions are you?
Do you know how much I love that? No one ever sends me photos to use. It's fantastic.
Oh my God, I was like, this headshot.
High quality photos, beautiful. You just make it so easy.
I think that's being very polite, and I think I was quite controlling, but I was doing it. I did lots of smiley faces with it. Passive aggressive.
So the smiley faces sort of ease off the controlling part. Yeah. Well, how did you go with COVID, by the way? I'm curious. How did you find that whole period?
I was really lucky. I mean, because I think those of us that had already been doing voiceovers, and I know a lot of actors maybe got into it because at COVID time, because, you know, it was something you could do from home. I already had been doing it. And within the first week, myself and a friend got in touch and went, we need to get proper equipment. I hadn't really done work from home before. And I thought,
do you have a booth?
Why can't I? Well, I have now, and for 3 years I had a booth, but it was literally a room divider with a duvet over it that I would set up in between my toilet and it was a booth. And makeshift. Sorry to everybody that went on my website where there is a photo that isn't my booth, where I said, no, I didn't lie. I said, home studio. And there was this incredible photo, but I never said it was my home studio. But a duvet and everything worked very well for a few years. And I did that, set it up with my friend, and we both figured out how to put the equipment together and got it delivered and just started voicing from home. So I was all right, I think, you know, to a point, I guess, if that's what you mean. How was your experience? It was very strict in Australia.
You know, yeah, Melbourne was the most locked down place in the world.
Was it?
Yeah, out of anyone. We had the most days, yeah. But I was fine because I'm in here a lot anyway. But I was kind of privileged because I know other people weren't. But you know, we got through.
Were you doing the other side? Then? When did you start interviewing?
I actually started it during the pandemic, yeah, because I took the opportunity because a lot of actors were sort of twiddling their thumbs, and I said, "Oh, there's probably more chance they'll want to do an interview with a guy from Australia." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it ended up just that was where it began. So,
Yeah.
and here we are,
Yeah.
150 later or so. So it's been
Amazing, isn't it?
fantastic. Hey, thank you,
Yeah, we're
Tracy,
very
for taking the time. By the way, today with
right.
the hour has flown by, which I knew it would. How did you find this experience?
Are we still recording?
Yeah, we are.
So I can't reveal my true personality yet. It was great. No, it's fine. I do feel that I've come across as quite hysterical, but that's nerves. And actually, I had a headache at the start. Oh, I didn't tell you that because I'm a trooper.
Oh,
it's gone.
Wow. You are a great actor. You really are. So is there anything you wanted to say to the fans before we wrap up here, Tracy? Is there anything you wanted to pass on to the fans of BG3?
Yes. She said, looking at her notes, no, please try and keep Jahira alive. It's worth it. Not because of me, just because of the backstory. I'm looking directly at the camera now. It's probably really disconcerting. But then you get to meet Minsc, get to meet Matt Mercer. And yeah, and I know it's really hard at Moonrise Towers. But what was the word? Re-scab. What's the word? Reload.
Save scum. Save scum. Yeah.
Save scum and go again. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I'm saying. But enjoy the game, and you know, we've had a great time, and thank you so much for all the nice responses. It's really appreciated. I'm still looking at the camera. I'm going to look at you now.
It's a wholesome community. I tell you what,
it's amazing. Like I think, as we said at the start, it's a bit mad, but it's great. Thank you so much, Dan. You're such a marvelous interviewer, and you cured my feeling nauseous. So.
Hey, can we get, as we wrap this one up for everyone, one more Jahira line to Dan?
Be the cliff that breaks the sea.
That's a great line. Who's the writers around here? These writers are just unbelievable.
Rory Moore. Rory Moore. He's a marvelous writer.
Rory. If you're watching this, Rory, you are a legend.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
He's not going to watch this to the end. I'll tell him to watch the end.
Maybe
Thanks so much, Dan.